Hey everyone, welcome back to Switch Top. With so many games on the Nintendo Switch, it can be tough to know which ones are actually worth your hard-earned cash. Today, we're counting down the top 20 Switch games that deliver incredible value, whether through hours of content, exceptional quality, or just pure fun that justifies every dollar spent. These are games you won't regret buying. Let's jump right in. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is a 2D stealth platformer that perfectly captures what makes sneaking through hostile spaces so satisfying. You play as a silent ninja, navigating handcrafted levels where light, shadow, and sound are core mechanics rather than background details. Staying in darkness keeps you hidden, while even small noises can alert guards, with clear visual cues showing exactly how enemies perceive the world. Movement feels fluid and precise, letting you climb walls, grapple across gaps, and chain silent takedowns in a way that rewards patience and planning. The game gives you real freedom in how you approach each area. You can ghost through unseen, use gadgets and distractions to manipulate enemy behavior, or take a more aggressive route if things go wrong. Progression adds depth, as completing levels earns points to unlock new abilities and tools, encouraging replayability and experimentation. The story is told with restraint, focusing on a ninja clan caught between ancient traditions and modern threats, adding context without overshadowing the gameplay.
Nothing. Move on.
Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition is a beautifully crafted Metroidvania that blends precise platforming, exploration, and emotional storytelling into a cohesive experience. You control Ori, a small guardian spirit, moving through a richly interconnected forest where progression is driven by unlocking new abilities that expand how you traverse the world. Core mechanics focus on smooth movement, with wall jumps, double jumps, and other skills gradually turning difficult terrain into a playground once mastered. Combat is simple but purposeful, keeping the focus on positioning, timing, and environmental awareness rather than brute force. One of the game's standout systems is the Soul Link mechanic, which lets you create checkpoints at the cost of energy, giving you control over risk and encouraging smart resource management. Exploration is constantly rewarded with upgrades, hidden paths, and optional challenges that invite backtracking in meaningful ways. The story is told with minimal dialogue, relying on visuals, music, and atmosphere to convey the fall and restoration of the forest, resulting in an emotional journey that supports the gameplay without ever slowing it down. Cuphead is a fast-paced, run-and-gun action game built around precision, pattern recognition, and relentless boss encounters. Gameplay alternates between side-scrolling stages and elaborate boss fights, each demanding sharp reflexes, constant movement, and a clear understanding of enemy attack patterns. Shooting, dodging, and jumping are tightly tuned, with parrying playing a key role by letting you counter specific pink attacks to build a special meter for powerful abilities. As you progress, you unlock different weapons and charms that subtly change how you approach fights, encouraging experimentation rather than brute force. The overworld structure feels classic, offering branching paths, optional challenges, and secrets that reward exploration. While the difficulty is famously high, it's designed around learning through repetition, where every failure teaches timing and positioning instead of feeling unfair. Story-wise, you follow Cuphead and Mugman after a risky deal goes wrong, sending them on a mission to reclaim lost souls, serving as a simple but effective framework for the game's chaotic journey. Death's Door is an isometric action-adventure that blends tight combat, smart exploration, and a quietly emotional story into a focused experience. You play as a small crow working as a reaper, navigating a world where soul collection feels routine until something goes wrong and pulls you into a deeper mystery. Combat is deliberate and skill-based, relying on well-timed dodges, learning enemy patterns, and making the most of a compact but versatile toolkit that includes melee weapons, bows, magic attacks, bombs, and utility abilities like a hookshot. Encounters punish careless play but feel fair, rewarding patience and mastery rather than aggression. Exploration is structured around interconnected areas and hubs, with new abilities gradually unlocking shortcuts and hidden paths, encouraging thoughtful backtracking. Progression comes from collecting souls to upgrade health, magic, and damage, creating a steady sense of growth without overcomplicating the systems. The story unfolds subtly through environments and interactions, mixing dry humor with melancholic themes about duty, loss, and purpose, giving the world personality while letting gameplay remain the main focus. Vampire Survivors is a deceptively simple action roguelike built entirely around survival, positioning, and explosive progression. You control a single character in compact stages where attacks fire automatically, shifting the focus to movement as you dodge massive enemy waves and collect experience gems to level up. Each level up offers randomized weapons or passive upgrades, allowing builds to grow rapidly as abilities stack, evolve, and fill the screen with chaotic patterns of damage. Success comes from understanding synergies, managing space, and knowing when to push forward or kite enemies to avoid being overwhelmed. Between runs, the gold you earn unlocks new characters, weapons, and permanent upgrades, creating a constant sense of progression and encouraging experimentation with different playstyles. While the story remains subtle, it frames the action with a gothic tone, placing you against endless hordes of supernatural creatures across cursed and eerie environments. The strength of the game lies in its addictive loop, where every run feels like a fresh attempt to survive just a little longer and refine your strategy. Katana ZERO is a fast-paced 2D action platformer that combines razor-sharp combat with a dark, stylish narrative. You play as a professional assassin, navigating compact, side-scrolling levels where a single hit means death, turning every encounter into a careful test of timing, positioning, and execution. Combat revolves around swift sword strikes, evasive rolls, wall maneuvers, and the ability to slow time, allowing you to dodge bullets, deflect attacks, and plan precise takedowns in the middle of chaotic situations. Each level feels like a tightly designed puzzle, encouraging experimentation until you find the cleanest path through enemies. Between missions, interactive dialogue scenes let you interrupt or explore conversations, gradually revealing fragments of the protagonist's troubled past and the larger conspiracy surrounding his work. The story leans into neo-noir themes, blending violence, memory, and control while maintaining a strong sense of momentum. With its responsive controls, high-risk gameplay, and narrative that unfolds naturally through action and choice, Katana ZERO delivers an intense experience where mastery and storytelling move in perfect sync. Astral Chain is an action-adventure game that stands out thanks to its unique dual-character combat and its mix of high-energy action with investigative gameplay. You play as a rookie officer in a futuristic police force, tasked with protecting humanity from otherworldly creatures known as chimeras. Combat revolves around controlling both your character and a powerful companion called a legion at the same time, linked together by an astral chain that can be used to bind enemies, interrupt attacks, and set up stylish combo sequences. Switching between different legion types adds tactical depth, as each one offers distinct abilities suited for combat, crowd control, or utility. Outside of battles, the game slows down to let you explore city zones, investigate crime scenes, gather clues, and interact with civilians, creating a strong contrast between action and downtime. The story gradually escalates from standard police work into a larger sci-fi mystery, exploring themes of duty, control, and survival in a collapsing world, while keeping the gameplay varied and consistently engaging. Dead Cells is a fast and demanding action platformer that blends roguelike structure with Metroidvania-style exploration. You control a mysterious, reanimated warrior pushing through a constantly shifting fortress filled with dangerous enemies, traps, and powerful bosses. Combat is quick and skill-focused, relying on precise dodges, parries, and smart use of a wide variety of weapons and abilities, each with its own feel and playstyle. Every run is procedurally arranged, ensuring no two attempts play out the same, while death sends you back to the start with lost gear, but valuable cells used to unlock permanent upgrades, new weapons, and additional paths. This progression system creates a strong loop of risk, learning, and long-term improvement. Exploration is encouraged through branching routes and hidden areas that reward curiosity and experimentation. The story is deliberately understated, told through environmental details and fragmented lore, hinting at a ruined island consumed by a strange affliction, and leaving players to piece together its history through repeated runs and discovery. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a polished 2.5D action-adventure that leans heavily into Metroidvania design, blending fluid combat, acrobatic movement, and layered exploration. You play as Sargon, a skilled warrior from an elite group, tasked with navigating the sprawling, interconnected regions of Mount Kof, where progression is driven by unlocking new abilities that open hidden paths and shortcuts. Platforming feels sharp and responsive, built around wall jumps, air dashes, and precise timing, while combat emphasizes parries, fast combos, and crowd control rather than simple button mashing. Time-based powers add a strategic twist, letting you reposition instantly or rewind movement to solve puzzles and survive intense encounters. Customization through upgrades and talismans allows you to shape both combat and traversal to your playstyle, encouraging experimentation. Exploration is constantly rewarded with secrets, optional challenges, and meaningful upgrades. The story provides a strong narrative backbone, centered on a rescue mission that gradually expands into a larger mythological mystery, grounding the fast-paced gameplay in a rich and atmospheric world.
Sargon can slash through his enemies and perform impressive juggling combos.
Menelaus' bow. What's going on?
You can also wield a powerful bow, greatly enhancing offensive and defensive abilities with its dual purpose.
Balatro is a clever card-based roguelike that transforms familiar poker rules into a deep and constantly evolving solo strategy game. Each run revolves around forming poker hands to earn enough chips to clear increasingly demanding blinds, all within limited hands and discards that force careful planning. What sets the game apart is how it twists classic poker through jokers and special cards that radically alter scoring, create powerful synergies, and reward creative deck building rather than memorization. Between rounds, you refine your deck by purchasing new cards and upgrades, gradually shaping a strategy that can snowball in unexpected ways. Different starting decks add variety and encourage experimentation, ensuring no two runs feel the same. While there's no traditional story, progression naturally emerges from the tension of risk and reward as you push your build further, adapt to bad draws, and chase higher stakes. Balatro's strength lies in its ability to make every decision matter, blending randomness and strategy into a tightly focused, endlessly replayable experience. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge is a classic side-scrolling beat-em-up brought to life with modern polish and a strong focus on fluid, satisfying combat. You choose from a roster of iconic characters, each with distinct moves and attacks, and fight your way through colorful stages inspired by familiar TMNT locations. Combat is fast and responsive, encouraging combos, crowd control, and smart positioning as waves of enemies fill the screen. The game supports both solo play and chaotic co-op, scaling its challenge to keep encounters engaging regardless of how many players are involved. Progression in story mode ties battles together through an overworld structure, adding small objectives and variety without distracting from the core action. Boss fights punctuate each stage with memorable encounters that test timing and teamwork. The story centers on the turtles facing a renewed threat from Shredder and his allies, providing a straightforward but effective narrative backdrop that keeps the momentum high while letting the gameplay remain the star. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a refined Metroidvania that builds on smooth platforming and exploration while adding more depth to combat and progression. You control Ori, a guardian spirit exploring a vast, interconnected world filled with diverse biomes, environmental puzzles, and hidden paths that gradually open up as new abilities are unlocked. Movement feels fluid and expressive, centered on jumping, dashing, gliding, and grappling through carefully designed spaces that reward precision and mastery. Combat plays a larger role here, offering a variety of spirit weapons and upgrades that allow for different playstyles rather than a single fixed approach. Customization is handled through a shard system that lets you fine-tune abilities and stats, encouraging experimentation. Exploration is enriched by optional side quests and interactions with memorable characters, giving the world a strong sense of life. The story follows Ori's emotional journey to protect loved ones and restore balance to a broken land, told through atmosphere, music, and visuals that support the gameplay without overwhelming it. NieR Automata, the End of YoRHa edition, is an action RPG that blends fast, stylish combat with a deeply layered and thought-provoking narrative. You play as combat androids deployed to a ruined Earth overrun by machine lifeforms, fighting in the name of humanity while gradually uncovering unsettling truths about the world and themselves. Combat is fluid and responsive, mixing light and heavy melee attacks, evasive dodges, aerial combos, and range support from a customizable pod that allows for constant movement and flexibility in battle. The game frequently shifts perspectives, moving between third-person action, side-scrolling segments, and shoot-'em-up sections to keep gameplay varied and engaging. Exploration spans open environments and structured areas filled with side quests, NPCs, and hidden details that add context to the larger conflict. Storytelling is the heart of the experience, unfolding across multiple character viewpoints and repeated playthroughs that reveal new layers, exploring themes of identity, purpose, and consciousness in a way that stays with you long after the action ends.
Alert. Incoming enemy attack from below. Proposal. Evade.
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is a large-scale action RPG that combines strategic real-time combat with expansive exploration and a strong, character-driven story. You explore massive, interconnected environments filled with side quests, hidden areas, and landmarks that reward curiosity and encourage free roaming. Combat unfolds in real time, with party members attacking automatically while you activate special arts on cooldown, making positioning, timing, and party synergy key to success. Attacking enemies from specific angles, managing aggro, and coordinating abilities adds a tactical layer that keeps battles engaging over long sessions. The world feels alive thanks to changing enemy behavior and events that shift depending on conditions, giving exploration a dynamic edge. The story follows Shulk, a young fighter wielding the mysterious Monado, whose ability to glimpse the future draws him and his allies into a far-reaching conflict against mechanical enemies. Strong character development and escalating stakes drive the narrative forward, creating a journey that balances epic scale with personal moments while keeping gameplay and story tightly connected. Blasphemous 2 is a dark and demanding 2D action Metroidvania that builds its identity around precise combat, methodical exploration, and heavy atmosphere. You once again control the Penitent One, traveling through a sprawling, interconnected world filled with twisted landscapes, deadly traps, and hidden paths that reward careful observation. Combat is deliberate and punishing, centered on well-timed attacks, dodges, and parries, with multiple weapons available, each offering distinct range, speed, and abilities that influence both how you fight and how you navigate the environment. Progression comes through upgrading weapons and unlocking new skills that expand combat options and open previously inaccessible areas, encouraging meaningful backtracking. Boss encounters are intense and mechanically focused, testing mastery rather than patience. The story is delivered subtly through unsettling environments, cryptic dialogue, and item descriptions, exploring themes of faith, guilt, and suffering without direct exposition. Together, its tightly designed systems and oppressive world create a cohesive experience where challenge, exploration, and narrative are deeply intertwined. Absolum is a roguelike beat-em-up that blends classic side-scrolling brawler action with modern progression systems and strong character variety. Gameplay focuses on fast, combo-driven melee combat, where timing, positioning, and smart use of light, heavy, and special attacks are essential to survive increasingly tough encounters. Dodges, counters, and crowd control tools keep fights dynamic, while each playable character brings a distinct style that changes how you approach combat, encouraging experimentation across multiple runs. Roguelike structure shapes progression through branching paths, randomized encounters, and powerful passive bonuses that modify your abilities and builds, making every attempt feel different. Between runs, permanent upgrades provide a steady sense of growth without removing the challenge. The fantasy world ties it all together, placing you in a land ruled by tyranny, where magic is forbidden and a small group of rebels rises against an oppressive ruler. Story elements give context to the action without slowing the pace, letting the focus stay on mastering combat, adapting to new challenges, and pushing further with each run. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a finely tuned 2D platformer that blends classic side-scrolling action with modern level design and smooth, responsive controls. You guide Donkey Kong through a wide variety of imaginative stages, teaming up with other Kong family members who each bring unique movement abilities that influence how you jump, glide, roll, and reach hidden areas. Platforming is precise and demanding, built around momentum, timing, and environmental awareness, while combat and traversal flow naturally together. Collectibles and secret paths are layered throughout each level, rewarding careful exploration and mastery. Special attacks add another layer to encounters, giving you powerful options once your meter is filled. The game's environments constantly evolve, shifting from frozen landscapes to lush jungles and hazardous terrain, keeping each world visually and mechanically distinct. An optional accessibility-focused mode offers a more forgiving way to play without removing the core challenge. The story keeps things simple, focusing on Donkey Kong and his allies reclaiming their island from invading enemies, letting gameplay and level design take center stage. Unicorn Overlord is a tactical RPG that blends large-scale strategy with real-time combat and deep army management in a richly illustrated fantasy world. You play as Elaine, an exiled prince leading a growing liberation force across a vast continent, recruiting a wide range of characters with distinct classes and abilities to form flexible units. Gameplay centers on commanding squads across an overworld map, capturing territories, managing resources, and engaging enemy forces, with battles resolving through real-time encounters shaped by positioning, unit composition, and preset tactics. Instead of direct micromanagement, you define behaviors and priorities for each squad, creating a satisfying balance between planning and execution. Exploration and optional quests add depth by strengthening your army and revealing more about the world and its characters. The story follows a classic high fantasy arc, focusing on reclaiming a fallen kingdom and uniting fractured lands against a tyrannical empire, grounding its strategic systems in a strong sense of purpose and progression.
It's up to you. I shall protect you. This shoot you!
Ready yourself!
You'll see no harm!
Hollow Knight Silksong is a finely crafted Metroidvania that builds on the foundation of its predecessor while introducing faster movement, sharper combat, and a new sense of vertical exploration. You play as Hornet, a skilled and agile hunter navigating the interconnected kingdom of Farloom, a world filled with hostile creatures, hidden paths, and layered challenges that encourage curiosity and mastery. Combat is more acrobatic and aggressive, focusing on precise melee strikes, quick dodges, and constant mobility, with new tools and abilities expanding both traversal and fight options as you progress. A silk-based resource system ties healing and special actions to combat performance, creating a strong risk and reward loop that rewards confidence and timing. Exploration is non-linear and dense, with quests, upgrades, and secrets woven naturally into the environment, pushing you to move upward through diverse regions and face demanding boss encounters. The story is delivered subtly through atmosphere, character interactions, and environmental storytelling, slowly uncovering the mysteries of Farloom while keeping the focus firmly on skill-driven gameplay and discovery. Hades 2 is a fast and polished roguelike action game that builds on the strengths of its predecessor while expanding both combat depth and narrative scope. You play as Melinoe, a skilled underworld warrior trained in magic, fighting through layered regions filled with enemies as part of a mission to confront Chronos, the embodiment of time. Combat remains quick and responsive, centered on fluid attacks, dashes, and positioning, but introduces new systems like a dedicated magic resource that powers stronger abilities and tactical spells. Each run is shaped by boons granted from mythological allies, allowing builds to evolve in different directions and encouraging experimentation with weapons and abilities. Between attempts, a central hub serves as a place to unlock permanent upgrades, craft useful tools, and deepen relationships with characters, adding long-term progression and story development. The narrative unfolds gradually through repeated runs, blending Greek mythology with personal stakes and character-driven dialogue, ensuring that every attempt feels meaningful both mechanically and narratively.
Slowing down.
And there you have it, the top 20 Nintendo Switch games that are absolutely worth your money. From roguelikes to Metroidvanias, tactical RPGs to platformers, these games deliver exceptional quality and value that justify every dollar spent. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Until next time!